welcome back to the channel. Today I have a very special video because Natsume actually invited myself, a bunch of other creators, media, different writers to check out an exclusive hour of the upcoming Harvest Moon Winds of Anthos, which comes out on September 26th for $49.99, pretty much every platform. I'm pretty sure it's like every platform. So today, this isn't a sponsored video. I'm going to give you guys like my impressions of everything shown and give you guys some exclusive info and stuff. And then at the end, I'll actually just put gameplay. I'll just have like unedited, just gameplay that they sent me. And I'll have gameplay, you know, going throughout the video. So let's get to it. There's a lot to talk about. Also, don't mind me. I have my notes right here. So yeah, anyway. The first thing I want to talk about in something that they haven't been selling, and I think this is like the biggest part of this game, it is a true open world. Harvest Moon Winds of Anthos has a giant, let me restart, giant world. They actually so we couldn't record gameplay during the event, but they showed off the entire map because you'll start off with like a little portion unlocked. And then as you progress, you'll unlock a huge part of the map. The map is giant. I don't really know what to compare it to in terms of like game wise, but the map is very big. Like my initial thought of the game, it was probably going to be like a third of this map. Like the map is giant. With that, let's talk about the open world. Again, this is a huge part of the game. Again, true open world, huge map. Some of the activities that you can do in that open world, because it's one thing to have a giant open world, it's another thing to actually have like interesting things to do. So obviously you'll be doing things like foraging for items and resources. There'll be like mushrooms and stuff that you can pick up, or whether it's like chopping down a tree to get wood, stuff like that. You know, your typical like farming, you know, collecting stuff. You will find wisps throughout the open world, similar to One World. So there'll be these like wisps scattered throughout the open world. You go up to them and they actually give you seeds in different resources. I was asking the developer about the seeds and like, are they exclusive? Some of them are. So you will have to talk to the wisps and get those seeds because some of them are exclusively out in the open world. So there are 5 major towns scattered throughout this entire map, and you can kind of go in your own way. So like someone might have a completely different experience than another player that's playing this. So you can go to any town you want first. And basically, so a lot of the previews, I was wondering what the star rating was on the town. And essentially you start with towns that aren't really in the best of shape. And by doing quests and helping these towns, you kind of have to revive these towns and bring them back to glory, essentially. So there's 5 major towns. The really cool thing about this map though, is that there will be different weather at the same time of day. So like you might start in this one town where it's downpouring. There might be a ton of rain. But as you travel, you know, it clears up in spots, or it might be snowing in spots. There's actually climate-specific clothing that you will need. Similar to like a Zelda game, where, you know, you'll need your clothing that warms you up a little bit in colder climates. And then vice versa, you will need clothing that, you know, kind of cools you off in very hot climates. So I thought that was kind of cool. There will be different animals that you can tame and bring back to your farm. There's very obscure and crazy animals like tigers, bears. There's also dinosaurs too. So it's not like a realistic sort of nature-y game. There'll be weird dinosaurs. And some of these, you know, animals that you can find, you can actually mount. So there's a bunch of different mounts in the game. There's, you know, your standard horses, but you can also mount these dinosaurs. So you can like, you know, run around as a dinosaur and they go super fast. So each one of these animals has, you know, different abilities. My one concern about this game and the map in general is the open worlds. Although it's cool that we have a huge open world, it doesn't look like the most interesting open world, if I have to be completely honest with you. There seems to be a lot to do, but a lot of the open world just kind of seems bare. I've compared this game to like more of the modern Pokemon games, and that's good and bad, right? Like it looks okay, but it looks very uninteresting. I would have liked more of a like thick, world like Skyrim or something like that, or maybe even a Zelda game where there's just a lot to do. Also, the traversal of the world seems a little bit limited. So I was talking to one of the developers and they said like, you can't like climb up mountains or anything. You have to find like the path that goes to it. So it is an open world and you should be excited about the open world, but it does seem a little bit empty and the traversal options seem a little bit limited. Let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of this game, starting off with fishing. And fishing has always been one of my favorite things to do in some of the cozy farm games. And I will say that the fishing is a little bit more interesting and in-depth compared to other games. So the fishing kind of plays like a little mini game where you throw your rod out and then you have to get the fish's attention. There'll be shadows. And then when the fishing actually starts, when you hook the fish, you will have to kind of go opposite of where the fish is going. So if the fish is kind of tugging you to the left, you have to go to the right with your joystick. The fishing looks pretty good. I mean, seems pretty basic, but it's a little bit more advanced, I think, than the average game. The farming is kind of exciting. You know, it's pretty basic. You plant things, you water things. It doesn't really rewrite, you know, the rules and things of farming, but there are some interesting elements because you will get different crops based on which region you're in. So there might be different versions of corn. There might be a different kind of corn that grows in the colder region. There might be a different kind of corn that grows in a more tropical region. So I really like that. It's going to kind of give replayability and it's going to kind of force the player to experiment a little bit with the crops. But everything that I've seen, let me see if I'm missing anything. Everything that I've seen is very interesting with the crops. I really like what they have going here. And of course, like I said before, you can move your farm around to the different regions. So you might have multiple farmland going on at once. So that's something I really didn't like about One World, but they said it's a little bit better in this one. All right, let's get to the spicy relationship stuff. I was actually the only one in my session that asked about relationship stuff. So I got you guys covered. Relationship stuff. There are 5 female candidates and 5 male candidates. And I believe for the first time in Harvest Moon anyway, you can marry same-sex partners. So it doesn't matter, you know, who you are, you can date anyone. Actually, the developer, when I asked about that, he said, it's really important for us, for the player to play their own way, to have everyone have their own story. So I like that. The candidates seem pretty cool as well. They've been posting them on their social media over on Twitter. There are different cutscenes for each of the candidates, which is cool. Similar to like A Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, where as you get to know these candidates, you'll definitely see like, you know, you'll unlock more of their story. There'll be different cutscenes. So that's exciting. I believe, I don't know if my question was like, I don't know if they got my question totally, but I believe you can only access the marriage candidates after the main story. So I think you have to beat the main story and sort of, like I was saying, revive all of the towns, and then you can start, you know, marrying, and then you can also have kids as well. So yeah, the relationship system seems pretty good. Of course, you like gift your marriage candidates, but 10 total candidates, and they all look good. Like, I feel like it's going to be a tough choice for people. All right, so here's my final thoughts, and I actually put in some deal breakers in here that I thought of. So I talked about, you know, the relationship stuff. I talked about the mechanics. This is kind of like the things that didn't have their own category. So starting off, I will say that this is a huge improvement over some of the past Harvest Moon games, especially on the Switch, the more modern ones. I actually, at this time, I can't really recommend any of the modern Harvest Moon games. This is going to change that, though. I really do think that this is a huge improvement. Someone asked in my session, like, what their favorite part of the game was, like, from the developers. And they said the open world. They said, we love the open world. We love the different weather systems in here. And the developer, the main developer that wasn't there, because he's actually from Japan, and when we were doing it, it was like midnight where he was. He said he's really proud of this game. He's really proud of the direction that they're going in. And compared to some of the other installments, some of the more recent installments, they're really they're really excited what people are going to think of this one. A couple of my standout things, again, I have to go back to the map. It's a shame I don't have footage. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to record while the session was going on. They sent us this gameplay. The map is huge. I want to stress that, man. The map is absolutely giant, and I feel like I'll be spending most of my time just exploring and trying to find different secrets and stuff. I will say though, there is a couple things and so a few bad things and one exciting thing. Which one do you want me to start with? Let's go with the bad things. So during the session, I asked the developer how long the days were. This is really important for me. There are farming games that I love, but the days are like way too short. A game like Harvestella did that, where the days were way too short. They actually updated it, so the days are a little bit longer now. The newest Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, I really like how long the days are. This game, I don't know how you feel about this, but there are the days that they said, if you use the whole day, it's 8 to 10 minutes long. And for me personally, I feel like that's a little bit too short. I think the days are a little bit too short. Now, if Natsume is watching this, if we could possibly like make the days longer, I don't know. If we could like double the days. And the only reason why I say that is because 8 to 10 minutes, I don't feel like is enough to get my farming done, to take care of my animals, and to explore the map, which I really want to do. So 8 to 10 minutes doesn't seem like enough time. So if they manage to update that and double it, maybe if, enough players, give them feedback, they will do that. But I do think the days were a little bit short. The other thing, which I don't like, which happened in one world, is you actually use stamina when running around the map. So you have like a bunch of hearts on the bottom, and you use that stamina for, of course, like farming and fishing, and your stamina drains as you run around the world. Now, this seems like an early game problem, because like I said, you will unlock mounts and stuff. So I don't think this will be a late game problem, but the fact that you will be draining stamina while you're traversing the map, kind of a letdown. And the shortened days, I think those are my only two big sort of takeaways that I'm not excited about. I will end on a good note though. I always ask those spicy questions, right? And I was like, hey, the game looks great. 20 to 25 hour main story. You can just continue playing after the story is done. So you can play this game forever, essentially. But I did ask them about post-game content, or post-launch content rather. And there is guaranteed updates and DLC coming to this game. So it is a game, whenever I hear that, I'm like, okay, I can get fully invested in this game now. There is post-launch content coming out. But yeah, that's kind of all I have. Again, shout out to Natsume. I loved, getting this exclusive early preview, and full like disclosure. I think this game looks good. I know that I've kind of given my complaints, and rightfully so. You guys want to hear that. But I'm very excited for this game. I think it's one of my most anticipated games for the rest of the year, and that's competing with games like Mario Wonder and things like that. So I'm definitely excited. I think this is a good step. Like, it's a good step in the right direction, I think, for Natsume. I'm excited about it. The crops look good. Relationship stuff look good. The open world looks amazing. A few things I don't really care for. But yeah, those are my thoughts. So I'm going to leave you with like a minute or so of unedited gameplay, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did this change your mind? Are you looking forward to this game? I think you should check it out. I'm going to check it out. Hopefully I can get an early cop. Pat, play the gameplay. Bye.